Greetings, everyone. It's April, and that means one thing: taxes. That's right. Tax day is April 15th, and this year the Taxpayers Protection Alliance decided to count down the 10 worst examples of government waste from the past year. So presenting TPA's top 10 taxpayer flops, follies, and fiascos of 2014. Let's start with number 10. Our list begins with a PR campaign that could be called anything but super. The Army National Guard spent $10 million on a program called The Soldier of Steel, playing off of last summer's movie Man of Steel. The government subsidized promos for a movie that made $600 million worldwide. Taxpayer dollars flying away faster than a speeding bullet. Coming in next at number 9 is Green Gone Bad. Last year, the State Department complained that lack of security was due to inadequate funds. So what did the agency spend money on? One expense was $704,198 spent on gardening and landscaping services at the Brussels home of the U.S. ambassador to NATO. During a sensitive time for our diplomats overseas, it's unthinkable that the State Department would waste more than $700,000 on taxpayer money mowing lawns. They should use their gardening shears on their budget. At number 8, we have a major fiasco in the waste department. The government shutdown would seem to be a time when you'd think there'd be no way to waste taxpayer dollars, but you'd be wrong. Last fall, more than 100,000 federal workers making over $100,000 annually were deemed as non-essential but paid $4,000 for time off during the shutdown, totaling $400 million. When the average working family is making less than $1,000 a week, it's truly fiasco that those families are paying for federal workers to do nothing. We're at number 7, and here we have yet another example of government going Hollywood with taxpayer dollars. In 2013, the FBI decided that they could spend their time and your money working with Hollywood to catch fictional bad guys. Straight out of a screenplay, real FBI agents consulted on hit TV shows and films, all on the taxpayer dole. The FBI's Investigative Publicity and Public Affairs Unit has an annual budget of $1.5 million. It's time to round up the usual suspects and write this yearly waste of tax dollars out of the script for good. In what is truly the irony of ironies, the countdown hits number 6 and we go to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to find the government throwing money away. Literally. In 2013, an incident known as mashing occurred when too much ink was applied, ruining more than 30 million $100 bills. The cost had to be picked up by taxpayers so new bills could be made at a cost of about 12.6 cents each. In total, the cost to replace the mashed bills was nearly $4 million. Taxpayers can't be happy with the government wasting money like it grows on trees. Halfway through the countdown as we reach number 5, this flop comes courtesy of the U.S. Army and your local TV network. In 2013, the Army decided to give reality TV a try. Naturally, they used taxpayer money to fund the idea. $9 million to be exact. The show, starting strong, had a 10-episode run on Fox last year, but oddly enough, this brilliant idea came at a time when the Army had announced plans to downsize their forces. For DoD, sequestration apparently translated into taking bad ideas and using taxpayer money to make them, well, a reality. We're at number 4, so grab your umbrellas because there's a storm of government waste in the forecast. After the devastation of Hurricane Sandy, the federal government passed a bill to aid states that were impacted. However, the Department of Housing and Urban Development used $65 million on TV ads promoting tourism. Call us crazy, but taxpayers shouldn't be footing the bill for a state's PR campaign, especially when many individuals are still suffering long after the storm is over. Getting closer to the top, and number 3 is quite the fiasco. I'm sure we'd all like to own oceanfront property, but how would you like for the government to help you pay for it? This year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture issued taxpayer-funded loan guarantees of $500,000 to 100 families to buy homes in Hawaii. $500 million from the USDA for an island paradise sounds nice. Too bad taxpayers are on the hook for one of the more outlandish and inexplicable examples of government waste. It's disappointing to see taxpayer money just washed away like sand on the beach. Almost there, number 2 is a real winner. Our government studies a great deal of things, and taxpayers pay for research on many important endeavors. But then there's studies like the National Institute for Health's observation of more than 82 couples to discover a major breakthrough in lasting love. Wives should calm down. The agency spent $335,525 to find out that couples get angry when they have disagreements, among other obvious conclusions. No doubt that the government has some explaining to do on this one. Finally, the number 1 taxpayer flop folly fiasco comes under the heading of Return to Sender, and that's the United States Postal Service and their futurist. Yes, futurist. In the past year, the Postal Service enlisted the services of Faith Popcorn, yeah, that's her real name, a futurist whose business-savvy track record is about as good as government efficiency. Miss Popcorn looked to help on how to keep stamps relevant, interesting, and integral. Miss Popcorn and her brain reserve were contracted for a total of $566,000. It doesn't take a glimpse into the future to realize that this was a major waste of taxpayer money. Well, that's it, everyone. Taxpayers Protection Alliance hopes you enjoyed the list, especially since you paid for everything on it. Happy Tax Day!